Welcome back to Cloud Native FM, where we dive deep into the cloud native world with the industry's top voices. I am Saim Safdar, and today we're exploring a critical but often overlooked topic: how to synchronize business outcome with platform engineering initiative. And joining me today, Nicki Watt, currently serves as a Trifork's UK CTO and business unit lead. In this episode, she stresses on the fact that balancing innovation with structure is important. By leaning into the composability, AI augmentation, and security-first practices, the next wave of platform will not only empower developers but also deliver measurable business value. Platform engineering truly entered its stride in 2025, moving from early hype to hard-won reality. As organizations grapple with increasingly complex stacks spanning multi-cloud deployment, AI-powered services, and legacy lifts, they have turned to platform teams to provide guardrails, self service capabilities, and consistent best practices across the board. From the promise of developer portals to multi cluster control planes, platform engineering has become an umbrella term. But under that umbrella lie hidden challenges, vocabulary gaps, and unanswered questions about modernizing traditional application and infrastructure's workflow. Joining me today to unpack these topics is Nicki Watt, CTO and head of Trifork's UK, formerly OpenCredo.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks so much for the introduction, and I'm really thrilled to be on your program. So in terms of, I guess, where I'm up to at the moment, what I'm up to is we're actually literally just in the process. The timing of this talk is quite interesting because OpenCredo, which is a company that I worked for before, is literally busy transitioning to our parent company, Trifork. So there's a lot of changes happening there, but we're still doing the same stuff that we've done before in terms of, data platforms, platform engineering, all of that good stuff, but able to take advantage of some of the more innovative things that are coming from our parent company as well, things like Vision AI and spatial platforms. But we continue on our quest to help people with platform engineering and taking advantage of both the tooling, but also the people side of things that are required to make that work. So in terms of what I'm doing, it's similar to what I did before, even though our name is changing and has changed now. But I guess that's maybe just a broad or a brief update in terms of where I am.
Together, we will uncover the friction between business goals and platform roadmaps, missing concept in our platform engineering vocabulary, how platform engineering is or isn't guiding modernization of classic dev and ops workflow. I actually introduced to you by some of your wonderful talks available on the internet. I think someone on the GoTo conference, also on the PlatformCon, and you have been giving some wonderful talks over the years on the platform engineering side of things. Before we move further, I think PlatformCon is happening next month. Tell us a little about how people can find you if they're actually been planning to attend, and which some of the talks you actually planning to deliver for the next month.
So in terms of where they can find me, so you can obviously just get hold of me either on LinkedIn. I can give you my sort of details there. People can get hold of me there. For PlatformCon specifically, it's in London. So if people are going there, I'll be available, but it's also online. So I'll be attending the virtual side of things as well. So there's generally Slack channels and all manner of things that you can interact with at PlatformCon as well. So I'll be available probably in there as well. So that's one of the ways you can get hold of me. And in terms of what I'm probably going to be speaking on in this PlatformCon, I think I'm going to be, my current talk is around, does your platform need to go on a bit of a diet? So I think quite a lot of time. Platforms, we build them, and then all of a sudden we find out actually we've accumulated such a lot of technical debt because things change so fast. And the question is, how do you know when you need to refactor, when you need to sort of change, and when has your platform become too bloated? So that's probably the area I'm going to try and tackle for PlatformCon coming up this year. In terms of other talks coming up, because of the transition with my company or with the company at the moment, I don't have anything massively lined up beyond that. So I still need to explore what's coming up in the future. But for the moment, PlatformCon is pretty much the next one that's on my list.
Yes, absolutely. And if you're actually planning to attend, I think there are some very good talks because some of the community members have done wonderful job talking to bringing together very expert voices in this industry, bring together and share some very good business use cases, customer side of the stories, and also some of the standards and principles available today in the platform engineering. So I really look forward to it as well. And as soon as some of the talks actually drop out, I will include the YouTube link in here as well. So that term, the platform engineering, has some hidden challenges. We have some vocabulary gaps, some unanswered question, and there is a huge thing when I'm talking to people. Oh yes, platform engineering is worked brilliantly, but how do I able to modernize my stack into the newer version of the innovation? Where does platform engineering help me as well? So I have some question around that as well. But first thing first, for some of the people on the CTO side of the business. So if you are pitching, like Nicki, if you're pitching someone in the newer company around platform engineering, what will be your pitch to them? Why should they care about platform engineering?
So if people are new to platform engineering, I think what I would probably start with is that the way that we develop has changed a lot over time. So previously, you could build more sort of monolithic sort of applications, and developers could often fit many things in their heads, and the stack and everything that we operated in was a lot simpler. But as we've sort of moved forward, that complexity has absolutely sort of grown exponentially. And we're getting to the point where businesses need to innovate really fast. They need to be able to both get their product out to market much faster, but also be able to stay up to date and keep up with the competition. And generally, that's going to be quite challenging if you don't have the right tooling, if you don't have the right sort of framework and foundation to underpin that. So platform engineering is really a way to help provide that foundation for your development teams to make sure that you've got people focusing on the right things. So your developers can focus on building the business value that they really need, which will be your end product or whatever it is that you happen to be building. But then the platform engineering discipline can provide some of the heavy lifting that a lot of developers have got sucked into doing these days, because you have to be aware of Kubernetes, you've got to be aware of infrastructure and all of these things, and developers have been very overloaded in terms of what they actually have to do. So platform engineering provides the developers with a way of focusing on what they need, but also what's really important is that it gives the engineering managers and it gives your C-levels the ability to be able to optimize for things like economies of scale as you're growing, to be able to hire appropriately and not have to have hundreds of people in different roles all over your organization, but basically get to a point where you can maximize the effort in basically doing the heavy lifting for your engineering teams to be able to help them be more productive and ultimately deliver on the business outcomes and the values that you as an organization are looking to do.
Yes, this evolution of something like container and the Kubernetes wave started. Then we started a bombardment of the tool in your disposal. And we never really thought, like, where should we start as a newcomer into this new cloud native worlds we actually live in today, with all of these tooling and now in the enterprises. So luckily, we are thankful that the platform engineering started a new conversation. Yes, those will work out. Now we need to standardize some policies and procedure. And how how an organization with having the very various set of different role can work together to solve the challenges. And do you have a combined or universal vocabulary to work with? So I think it's a very right time that the platform engineering come into the picture and talking about these aspects into the business as well. So Nicki, what early platform engineering promises do you feel already been delivered and which have fallen short?
So I think I would say that the answer to that is always that it depends. So it depends on the organization actually whether they've implemented platform engineering well or not. Some organizations say to you, oh, well, these promises have been delivered on and others haven't. So my answer is probably a little bit nuanced here, in that the answer is yes, some things have been delivered, but. So if I take maybe one of the key areas, that activity and improving developer productivity. So I would say that that has definitely improved as a result of sort of platform engineering. But often it's actually when when teams get started initially. So platform engineering initiatives, I think in some cases have been very good where they've had to get maybe some of the onboarding going, getting some of the low-hanging fruit out of the way, or taking advantage of the low-hanging fruits of some of the automation. So all of those things will naturally improve the developer productivity as you start out on this journey. So I think there's definitely an improvement from that side, including golden paths and paved roads, those type of things. But I do think that it has also fallen short at the same time, and that is often when the day two operations kick in. So sometimes platform engineering initiatives haven't actually thought about the day two initiatives. And that's where you have maybe unclear support models and things like that. And then you get to the point where actually the developer productivity can actually sort of decline a little bit. And this is because maybe your developers that don't actually have the visibility that they need into the platform to be able to debug and observe and figure out what's going wrong. So they can get going really quickly, but then they get a little bit stuck when they have to try and sort of change things. And they'll end up spending more time trying to figure that out and working with the platform team to be able to make that happen, which negates the very benefit that they started off obtaining. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 in one way, because I think that it has both been a benefit, but also something that's fallen short at the same time. I think the solution to that is probably around exposing observability and tracking or tracing, as a service, I would say, because then you don't just give your development team sort of infrastructure as code, you actually give them infrastructure as knowledge to help them sort of move forward. So that's one example of, I think, the promises that have both sort of delivered and under-delivered. Faster time to market, that's another one that's often linked to improving developer productivity. And again, it's the same sort of caveats applied to that. But I mean, if you assume that some of the groundwork has already taken place, so you've managed to sort your pipelines out, you've got predictable setups, it's less fragile, and your day two operations have been sorted out, then you sometimes can get to the point where teams become too reliant on the platform. So they reckon, okay, I now need this particular feature, and they will wait for the platform team to put it in their roadmap and to get it going. Doesn't happen all that often, but this is again one of those areas where it can backfire on people, because they end up waiting for the platform team to be able to put everything onto the roadmap instead of accelerating and building things themselves. So if the platform is more modular, then they can start taking advantage of this themselves and actually adapting the platform in the first place. But if it's not modular and they have to wait on the team, then the time to market can actually blow out a little bit.
Oh yes, absolutely. I think that's. I think in 2025, I see there are some new vocabulary term for that. Like I think now we move from the monolithic platform code basis to the composable and modular blueprint. And I think this is also highlighted some portion in the platform engineering maturity model with the CNCF guys that I wrote about. define the reusable platform modules for the security policies, network configuration, and common CI/CD pipeline as well. So I think there, as you're mentioning, I think if I try to separate out, I think there's a similar, like when you actually start a car, is now actually platform engineering giving you some of the principle. Yes, you can do it in a very faster way to spin up where you want to proceed. But as you move along in the car, there are still hurdles we haven't answered off as of today as well. And that's where my next question is, because when you usually started with a new journey, and there'll be the fear of new anti-pattern that have emerged in this new field. So Nikki, which anti-patterns surprised you or fear you most, and how can teams avoid it?
So I think that one of the biggest anti-patterns is focusing on the technology. And I've spoken about this sort of multiple times before. And that's where teams, when they start their platform engineering initiatives, they only focus on the technology side of things, all the shiny new toys. So they've got their Kubernetes clusters and they're doing CI/CD and they're doing all these various types of things. But they end up building something which nobody wants, and then you would expect. So I'd say that's the overall pattern that I'd kind of see. I think sometimes there can be maybe anti-patterns in terms of there can be confusion in terms of what the platform actually is. So names are important. So, for example, even something like the internal developer platform is a catch-all for building a platform that everybody, that underpins your platform engineering. But the term IDP is used quite broadly, and it can mean anything. It can mean, it's the sort of basic Jenkins pipeline that I've got, to a full-blown service catalog, to environment management, or something else like that. But without clear scoping, it sets expectations that are generally impossible to meet. So I guess one of the anti-patterns that I do see as well is when the definition of what it is that you're building is not clear. So you just say, oh, this is my internal developer platform. It does stuff. It does everything. And I guess the fix for that, or the antidote for that, is to always define what your platform actually does and doesn't do. And I'm a big fan of having sometimes those pages that you see when you go to a product company and they say, oh, this is our product and we've got all these different sections, and you've got the little boxes that say tick, tick, yes, we do this, yes, we do that, and we don't do this. And it gives people a really good indication of what they can do, and what the platform can do, and what it also doesn't do. So the anti-pattern of just sort of throwing that, what that is, I think is one of the other challenges that I see out there.
Similar to the cloud actually added a share responsibility model, I would love to see in the near future we have platforms kind of a shared responsibility model, where what the platform does, what the platform team does, and what are the customer of the platform actually been doing for as well. So I think these are the very valuable anti-pattern as well, because usually when you develop or in the early phases of the new innovation, there always been a fear of new anti-pattern, and what you have told is really the importance to actually took into the consideration. I want you to highlight on that is like when some of the confusion or some of the frustration for some of the companies is around that, oh, we are in an older way of doing the stuff, and now there's a platform engineering comes into the picture. Do you think in today's world, are we providing some pathways for organization move from the older stack to the newer set of styles for developing application using platform engineering?
Yes, so I think I spoke around some of this previously. So I think the platform engineering maturity model is definitely one of the ways that we provide a way to be able for organizations to understand where they are. And this doesn't matter whether they're really old or whether they're halfway in between or they're somewhere on the stack to the right. And it provides them with, a set of sort of areas to have a look at, and also a set of sort of maturity sort of levels, if you want to put it that. And it's not meant to be a sort of you're absolutely just good, bad, or ugly type thing. It's been able to recognize that when it comes to, for example, investment, this is what it looks like on the mature end of the spectrum, and this is what it looks like on the sort of less mature, if I can put it that way, side of things. So that allows you to plot a path. So you can work out, okay, where am I on this maturity sort of matrix? You can plot where you are, and then work out, for my business objective, what am I trying to achieve? So maybe you're trying to scale more, you want to onboard a few more teams. You can have a look at what the characteristics are of an organization through platform engineering to this particular point. And then you can plot out from where I am to where I'm trying to get to, what are the strategies, what are the opportunities. So the platform engineering maturity model, which I know you've been heavily involved in, I think yourself, is, I'd say, one of the key tools to help with that.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I will include the link for the CNCF platform engineering maturity model, so people can actually go and actually watch out what we are talking about. Is that, because I think that's a missing piece, because a lot of organizations want a study curve because they are in some phase of their development life cycle, and then they see a new bloated tool for the very advanced use cases. Some companies are looking for the cheaper compute, and there's a new technologies to that, and now we have a transitioning to the new paradigm shift from DevOps to the platform engineering to some AI driven development. So they need some kind of a ladder, like where I am, what things I need to do in between, and how should I move from this phase 1 to the phase 2. And luckily, from CNCF platform engineering maturity model actually answer those questions as well, so people can watch out, can join, can click the link and actually read the article as well. Other next question, Nicki, I know it's a kind of a very advanced topic. Always been there's so many moving pieces into it, but you are having a wonderful experience and knowledge in this space. So how do a company can align its business initiative with platform engineering practices? Is there something available today?
So you've got to really understand what your business objectives and initiatives are that you're trying to achieve. So I think quite often when organizations start out with their platform engineering initiatives, they just plow straight into the very technical, sort of side of things. I need to improve my pipelines. I need to, make things go faster or whatever. But what you really want to do is aim for the business outcomes. So the first thing is to understand what is your business outcome. So there will be different business outcomes for different organizations. So for example, maybe it's improving security, maybe it's trying to go to a new market or something like that. So what you want to do is align your sort of platform engineering initiatives and the things that you're measuring to be able to make sure that you are achieving the ultimate business outcome. So in terms of ways to do that, I think a lot of it comes down to the communication, to be honest. So it's about speaking the business language with your sort of executives and C-levels. So not just speaking about your technical metrics, but being able to translate some of those into the business outcomes that are needed. Now, unfortunately, that's not simple in many cases. So there's no just simple tool out there, which is, oh yes, you just plug it in here and you magically get out a risk matrix or something like that. So a lot of the time you do need to put the elbow grease in, to be honest, and actually work out how do my technical sort of metrics, or how do the things that I'm doing actually impact the business outcomes. But as long as when you are reporting you speak in the language of the business, so you speak about risk or risk reduction, shall I say, and things like that, then it's easier to be able to move the business. Technical metrics will be an indication, or it provides an indicator towards how the business changes, but it's really not. It's not always a one-to-one, sort of correlation. So, for example, you might say the processes and the governance, the automated governance and processes that we've managed to put into the platform has enabled us to achieve our ISO 27001 certification. Therefore, we are able to go into market, some financial services market. So it's not a direct sometimes correlation, but it's trying to understand what are the things that map what I'm doing to the business outcomes. And doing things like even understanding how the platform areas that you focus on value in a business value stream is something that can make a difference. So if you map your business value stream out, you can say, well, here are the platform pieces, and this is how it's contributing. So you can use that as a tool to be able to help you with the narrative when you're speaking with executives and the like going forward.
Yes, absolutely. Because I think a lot of the fear and frustration for a lot of the platform engineers is like, it's always tough to tell my bosses why we need a platform in first place. And there's always been a multiple answer to that question. And there's a multiple stakeholder to involve. And everybody is speaking about their own language. Everybody live in their domain. So their domains is important. So they try to evaluate, like, it's my domain, it's how I align my domain into the platform engineering initiative within the organization, what we're actually doing. So it's hard. As you rightly mentioned, communication is one of the area where I think we are lacking for a way older, I think from a very long time. And now we have a new domain where we need to be a very expert in communicating the right advantages and right set of policies and procedure to build the platform. I think that's really important. So I think as I think there's one more question before I let you go. If you look at the platform engineering vocabulary, because we are using vocabulary for platform engineering all the time, do you think it's completed, it's complex, it's simple? So if I ask you if you want to is a simpler, like, what should you want to add in the platform engineering vocabulary, and what thing you want to remove it? Because sometimes I feel like it's very complex to tell these concepts to any new beginner or the CT or the C-level people.
Yeah, I mean, I think even the word platform is something that means so many things to different people. So again, it's being really clear about what something means. I'm not sure we'll ever, to be honest, perfectly get away from misunderstanding. So even DevOps still to this day, having been around for I don't know how long, still means different things to different people. To some people, it's about bringing dev and ops together and it's a cultural thing. And to other people, it just means I'm automating everything. So even after all this time, even DevOps doesn't have quite the right vocabulary. In terms of platform engineering, I think the vocabulary is evolving. So like I said before, we've got things like the internal developer platform is one of the terms that's used. I don't think it's used consistently at present. And like I say, I think you need to be quite specific about defining what that includes and what it doesn't. I think if I were to say maybe there's some, I don't know, invent some new terms in terms of what might be out there, I would say moving away from an IDP to an ODP. So instead of an internal developer platform to an outcome-based platform, an outcome-based developer platform. And that would at least kind of shift maybe the thinking to saying we are building a platform, but it's actually for focusing on the business outcomes, not just it is for the internal sort of developers, but actually just changing that mindset to say we're focusing on the outcome-based platforming sort of engineering type things. So yeah, that's probably some of my thoughts on that.
We'll try to figure it out a way to use a vocabulary that is most business centric, because these platform initiative are very complex, very giant, so many stakeholders involved. And if you use the technological debates, it's always been tougher to sell the story of why we actually been going that forward as well. So I would I would love to see that something like outcome-based platform or something like that would be in the table as well.
I mean, I think actually even on that, there might even be different levels of way to describe it. So actually having some language which is more focused at the sort of executive leadership level, because there will be technology related terms which need to be used so that the technologists also understand the same domain. But I think just using the right language at the right level for different people. So sometimes a little bit like, I don't know if you've ever come across Simon Brown's C4 model, where it actually describes architecture, and you kind of go down the layers and you start at the high level, work your way down to some of the different low level components of an architecture. And I think the way we describe platform engineering, we probably need to have the terms and technologies that describe common things at the top that everybody understands, and then understand also dropping down into some more common terminologies, but knowing when to use which terminology with which set of stakeholders is important.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I think quite recently I heard about new terminology like meta controllers, meta platform, sometime Franken platform. So it's a being a one hell of a vocabulary in the platform engineering space as well. I think in the CNCF side we actually added a vocabulary section in the platform word, so people can actually go about and see what we're actually talking about as well. But thank you very much, Nikki. I won't take much of your time because I will invite you again for the episode number 2, because when we actually have a platform con, you will be delivering some talks. So I believe you have some wonderful key takeaways that you can told us from that conference. And also on that time, we are 6 months past to the 2025, and I believe it's a very right time to do the recap of what we actually have done and what we actually have been achieving the platform engineering. So my last question is reserved for the next podcast when we meet, like where we are in the platform engineering and where we are actually been in the wave of the new terminology. But it's been pleasure talking to you on this episode. Before I let you go, is there on the Trifork? Can you a little bit explain to some of our audience what Trifork is and what sort of the customer you are dealing on daily basis?
Sure. So, Trifork is a global brand. So it's probably more well known, I think, at present in the EU and more in the US, but breaking now into the UK. As well, and it focuses on delivering innovation to organizations of all manner of different sort of areas. So health tech is one of the key areas that is focused on, as well as fintech, but also, as I say, in the spatial computing side of things, as well as vision AI. So it allows us basically to take advantage of a much broader set of capabilities than just what we have here in OpenCredo, now sort of Trifork UK, so software development and solution development for organizations at all level. So a combination also of providing some accelerator and product type sort of builds and things for clients to get started with as well. So there's the ability to build straight from scratch, but there's also more product related opportunities that we can use to bring into, for example, to help people accelerate the development of their either data platforms or those type of things, and get going. Instead of going from 0 to 100 from first principles, you can start at like level 30 or something like that, if I give an analogy. So some accelerators, as well as like just really good engineering capabilities to be able to develop and deliver across a wide set of solutions that our clients come across.
Awesome, wonderful. So I think all can I say, if Nikki is actually in the organization like Trifork. So there is a reason for me to look up what's been developing and what's been actually been in the horizon. So go, folks, is a trifork.com is a website where you can find all the valuable information what the company does, and you can see also where the Nicki will be busy in the rest of the year as well. But it's been pleasure talking to you, Nicki. Always glad to have insight from you on this YouTube channel where people can actually have some thoughts around what's been actually where we need to look into the more of the in 2025 journey. So looking forward to meeting you again in this YouTube channel, hopefully right after the PlatformCon. Still then, have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay healthy, stay, bye-bye, and have a nice day.